some of the most important work you'll ever do will never be applauded, will never be, people won't be grateful for it. They're not going to just tell you thank you. They're not always going to appreciate it. It won't always go noticed. A lot of times, a lot of the work that we do within faith, within our journey, is going to go unnoticed until the opportunity comes, until the success comes, until these things happen. And then people are wondering how you did it or how you got this far and all that. It's from all the work that you're doing that nobody sees. It's all from all the work that you're doing that nobody's applauding. It's all the work that you're doing that none of your followers get to hear about. Nobody gets to hear about besides you and God. So much work that happens between you and God. So many moments that happen between just you and God. So many conversations that happen between just you and God. Those are some of the most important, most growing, most, confidential, confidence building, foundation making moments in your life, seasons in your life, because those things are actually developing you the most, and it's taking the greatest amount of time to do it. A lot of realizations, a lot of the revelations, as some people would say, is what God brings to you, to your mind. Right. So what you went through 10 years ago, what you went through in the past, right? It could be 5 years ago, a day ago, a week ago. God can bring it back to your mind, and whenever you experience it right then at that moment, and God is bringing it to your mind, it's for a reason. God is like, this is why this has happened, or maybe you probably should think about this a little bit deeper. This moment on why maybe I was reacting a different way than what I should have been reacting in the past, and now that I'm going through what I'm going through now, God is still giving me that blessing. God is still putting an opportunity or a challenge in my way. Then I'm like, okay. That's the revelation. That's the realization of, even though the work has not been seen, does not mean it doesn't count. It doesn't matter though, right? So we all got to start somewhere. We all have to begin at some place. You could go to a job and be entry level and end up as the GM, end up as the CEO. Only the sky is the limit whenever you put your mind up there. Whenever you put your mind in the sky, wherever there is no limits, you have to put your mind in the environment on where you want to be and live in it and live and do things as if you are already there. You have to not trick yourself, but almost just make yourself believe that your environment will change. Your environment will be there. Will get to where you need it to be. Your success will do this. Your life will look like this. You have to almost trick yourself into believing that, because even though you're not in that right now, people might think you're crazy, but you have to believe in yourself enough to know that you're going to put in the work. In the work that you're putting in now is going to eventually show up later, right? You have to put your faith in God, put your faith in yourself, and know that you can believe that those things will happen one day. So showing up early, learning different things, right? Doing work that nobody notices. Nobody starts at the top. You earn trust before you earn visibility. That's the same thing with anything, right? So even with families, I'm not a father, but when you become a father, when I become a father, or if someone becomes a mother and doing things like that. So when you have a family, right, and you have made a decision with your spouse to raise them up a certain way, so then they don't go off that path, or they don't always, maybe whatever they do in life, at some point in time they're going to hear your voice, right? And it's the same thing with us, with God. God treats us as his children. We are his children. We are his creations, and he is the creator. So there's things that he imagines for us in this life. But whatever decision that we make, we have to know that God still loves us though. But God has given us lessons, right, and challenges and tribulations for us to learn those things. So in order for you later on in life, you're going to be like, oh, I remember this time, or I remember when God showed me this. Because it's very important that you have to know that everyone has to start somewhere. But wherever you start, that work that you do from there is what really matters. Not where you start, it's where you end. So praying, it's the same thing when you want to connect it with your relationship with Christ. So you start to pray and you're getting no recognition, right? You're praying without recognition. You're not feeling the presence. You're not seeing the blessings. You're not getting what you're asking for. but you're still praying without ceasing. That's another way of saying it. Praying without holding back. Praying without thinking that God doesn't already know what you want to pray for, what you want to ask for. So just ask him and go forward with that. Obeying without feedback. Doing things and feeling like it was going to do something for you, but then it's not. You're just sitting here and you're thinking that, man, I'm being obedient to God. I'm doing what God is saying, but nothing is still happening. That's whenever you start to doubt yourself. That's when you start to doubt God and your relationship. But know that it's still building you and growing you and not hurting you, right? Choosing integrity when no one sees. It's very important. Are you still working out in the gym when you don't post? Are you still doing the right things when nobody sees you? Are you still making the right decisions? And it's yes, you're gonna make mistakes along the way, and it's gonna be hard, and you might be stuck doing something for a while. But know that at the same time, faith is built in the seasons where no one is watching. Not just season when no one is watching, seasons, multiple seasons when no one is watching, multiple seasons of you being a good friend, multiple seasons of you being a good father, multiple seasons of you being a good coworker, good son, good whatever. Whatever you are trusted to be in this time in life that God wants you to have, then do that to the best of your ability. In the book of Luke, chapter 16, verse 10, it goes on to say that whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. And whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much. Right? And another verse in the book of Colossians chapter 3, verse 23, it says, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord, not for human masters. That last one in Colossians really said, doing it whenever you're not posting on your story and just showing people your highlights. Doing it whenever your spouse is angry at you and or your mother or your father or your siblings are mad at you and they're not talking to you and you're still doing the right thing. Doing it because you know that God is watching and not simply because others are watching. God promotes faithfulness before he grants influence. So, know that if it feels like nobody's noticing what your faith is right now, know that it doesn't matter what they think, right? God already thinks greatly of you, so you don't even have to think about what God thinks. You just got to worry about what you think. And if you think bad of yourself, then you will never be great, right? If you don't believe in yourself, who will? So if you know that God thinks greatly of you, he's just waiting for you to think greatly of yourself, right? So keep showing up. Faithful work always gets noticed though, just not always immediately. So do the work now because it'll come eventually, just not immediately all the time. And for the things that do come immediately and the things that are working out, use those resources to the best of your ability, get what you can out of them and move forward with that. But I appreciate y'all for tapping in with me, man. Know that you are loved and blessed, that you have a purpose, and you also have a mission in life. Thank you for catching me on this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate y'all for getting this deep into the video. So I hope y'all catch me on the next one.